Hey guys, it's Lord of the Pogs. When we think of a concept album, we usually think of Dark Side of the Moon, Hotel California, or Tommy. These albums produced some great songs, and indeed, the artists who created them have a spot on the top shelf for most music fans. But a concept album is about more than just great music. It tells a story. Pink Floyd's The Wall is a somewhat autobiographical exploration of abandonment and isolation. Kiss's The Elder is about the recruitment and training of a young hero to combat evil, and so on. Often, musicians will use concept albums to make a bold statement, and these are the 5 most important concept albums of the 21st century. These albums all come from my personal collection, so admittedly there is some bias here. And yes, I am wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. They are my favorite band, but no, Powerslave is not one of my top concept albums. Number 1 on my list is 2000's Hollywood by Marilyn Manson. Hollywood is a rock opera, and it's the final installment in a reverse trilogy that started with Antichrist Superstar. It's not the best Marilyn Manson album. That's an award I would give to either Mechanical Animals or A Portrait of an American Family, but I think it's the best representation of his work. Marilyn Manson has always been a champion for free speech, and as his first release after the Columbine Massacre, which took place in April 1999, for which he was blamed, Hollywood is a rebuttal against those accusations. Disposable Teens is considered a teenage anthem, echoing teenagers who act violently in retaliation against authority. The fight song is a pun on high school and college anthems known as fight songs, and is partly a post-Columbine statement disparaging mainstream America's own glorification of violence. The Nobodies refers to the shooters of the Columbine High School Massacre. A week after the Columbine Massacre, 10 senators penned a letter to Interscope Records requesting a halt to the distribution of Marilyn Manson's music, which they said glorified violence. 2 days later, Marilyn Manson published his response in Rolling Stone magazine, where he reprimanded America's gun culture and the media's irresponsible coverage, which facilitated placing the blame on a scapegoat instead of debating relevant social issues. Number 2 on my list is 2004's To the Five Boroughs by the Beastie Boys. To the Five Boroughs is their first major release after September 11, 2001, and it reflects on the after effects, both socially and politically. Obviously, the album is a message to New York City and New Yorkers. In fact, the song An Open Letter to New York City, stylized as An Open Letter to NYC, discusses deeply the group's affection for their hometown. But it's a message that's important for all Americans. It alludes strongly to the 9/11 terrorist attacks, but it also implies that there's deeper flaws within the system that people need to acknowledge and come together as a community, or suffer as a whole. Number 3 on my list also came out in 2004, and it's Green Day's American Idiot. American Idiot is a societally critical, politically charged rock opera which expresses the disillusionment and dissent of a generation that came to age in a period shaped by tumultuous events like 9/11 and the Iraq War. And it somewhat takes aim at giant corporations putting small companies out of business. The song American Idiot suggests that mass media has orchestrated paranoia and glorified idiocy among the public. The song Holiday is a prelude to Boulevard of Broken Dreams, which is about trying to take power from the feeling of being alone. It suggests that politicians are strategic in alienating one group of people in order to buy the votes of another, and intended to reflect the average American's apathy on issues of the day. Wake Me Up When September Ends is dedicated to the victims of Hurricane Katrina, but is usually regarded as a dedication to the victims of September 11th. Number 4 on my list is 2007's Year Zero by Nine Inch Nails. A soundtrack to a movie that doesn't exist, as Trent Reznor put it. Year Zero is a concept album that criticizes contemporary policies of the American government by presenting a dystopian vision. Trent Reznor says it cites the erosion of freedoms, and it could be about the end of the world, and the way we treat the rest of the world and our own citizens. Fictional events presented in the album lead to worldwide chaos, bioterrorism attacks, the United States engaging in nuclear war with Iran, and the elimination of American civil liberties at the hands of a fictional government agency called the Bureau of Morality. This really doesn't seem as far-fetched as it should, given recent revelations about the FBI's abuse of the Patriot Act and the dissent equals disloyalty doublespeak coming out of Washington in recent years. Number 5 on my list is 2019's Amidst the Chaos by Sarah Bareilles. Sarah Bareilles started writing material for the album during the 2016 presidential election, and the title is a reference to the presidency of Donald Trump. The song No Such Thing was written as an ode to President Barack Obama. Armor was written in response to the Me Too movement, and A Safe Place to Land was written about the immigrant family separation crisis in 2018. That concludes my list of the 5 most important concept albums of the 21st century, but as an honorable mention, I would like to add 1986's Peace Sells But Who's Buying by Megadeth. Peace Sells But Who's Buying presents a punkish political awareness with a dark, threatening, typically metal worldview. Dave Mustaine wanted to change the public's perception of heavy metal by writing songs that had socially aware lyrics. In fact, the band was aware of the political situation at the time, and some of Dave Mustaine's own political beliefs are reflected in some of the songs. Peace Sells is a disapproval of the American way and conveys Dave Mustaine's wish for a new social structure. Dave Mustaine says, "We're aware of the subjects we write about, witchcraft, satanic sacrifices, and so on, but we're not condoning them." The song The Conjuring is about black magic and contains instructions for hexes. It simulates a satanic ceremony and makes reference about being the devil's advocate. However, because the song's content appears incompatible with Dave Mustaine's conversion to Christianity, the song wasn't played after 2001 until 2018. Thanks for watching. Do you agree with my list? What concept albums do you think are the most important in the 21st century? Please let me know in the comments. If you liked this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that little bell in the corner to get notifications for more videos like this one.